guys, and welcome back to Next Good Thing, a channel where I help you do stuff. As you may have seen in the news, the city where I live is currently on fire. Luckily, my place is fine, but the air is full of ash and it's really hard to breathe, especially for Hamilton, so we chose to go stay at my friend Miranda's house. You'll remember her from one of my Q&A videos. Link! So, while Courtney and I were packing up and getting ready to go to Miranda's for a while, I thought it would be a really good idea for me to do a video for you guys about how to stay calm during an emergency. Now, today I'm not going to be giving you advice about emergency preparedness. I don't believe that I am in any way qualified to give you advice that is better than the advice that you can find from official sources like your local fire department or weather services about how to prepare for natural disasters and those kinds of emergencies like the fires or a hurricane or a flood or anything else. This advice is more about how to get through it while keeping a clear head and reducing stress and anxiety during that process. So, with that in mind, let's move on to step 1. Step 1 of remaining calm during an emergency is remembering what you can control. It can be pretty panic-inducing to realize that you don't have total control over your situation during an emergency, and I totally get that. But you can take some comfort in the fact that you do likely have at least some degree of control in how you respond to the situation. Doing something actionable, like packing a go bag or making an evacuation plan, can do a lot to restore some of that feeling of control and help you feel less like everything's spinning out and getting away from you. And that's important, especially if you have an anxiety disorder or some other condition that makes it difficult for you to regulate your emotional responses to things. Situations like these are scary, but do also try to remember that just because you're having some emotions that you can't control, that doesn't mean that you can't have other emotions too. You can be terrified and anxious and have all these other negative feelings that emergencies can bring about, and that's fine, and you should let yourself feel your feelings. Remember that you can feel terrified, but still be able to think logically at the same time. Staying calm in an emergency doesn't mean that you don't have feelings that are totally normal in response to an emergency. It just means that you accept that you have those feelings, and then you try to be effective while you have them. Now let's move on to step 2. Step 2 of staying calm in an emergency is to remind yourself that by nature, emergencies are temporary situations that break from your normal routine. That's why they're stressful. It's because they're out of the ordinary, and it's because they disrupt your life. But chaos can't last long before order emerges. I can't guarantee for every situation that an emergency will resolve quickly and that your life will go 100% back to the way it was before the emergency. But the chaotic and stressful immediacy of an emergency doesn't usually last very long. You might very well be able to go back to your totally normal life soon, but even if you're not, the immediate crisis and danger and hecticness of an emergency won't last very long. The chaos is temporary, and as you deal with the fallout or complications that may arise from an emergency, remember that you will be able to deal with those in an orderly manner. And once you deal with those, your life will resume a sense of normalcy. And when you're going through the hard part, the part where things seem chaotic and you lack a routine, that's something that can be really useful to hold on to. Your sense of normalcy will return. What you define as your normal or your routine might change, but that doesn't mean it will be worse, and that doesn't mean it will feel terrible. A routine is comforting because it's stable, and that sense of stability will return, even if it means that you have to deal with a little bit of fallout for a while. Now let's move on to step 3. Hi, Juno. You want to join step 3? Hi Juno, you're a pretty girl. Step 3 revolves around self-care. Once you're out of any immediate danger, take the time to practice a little bit of self-care before you tackle the tasks that revolve around dealing with the fallout of whatever the emergency was. So you evacuated to a new city because of a fire, for instance. Well, that sucks, and you'll probably want to call insurance and make sure everything's fine, and you'll want to get updates about what's going on with your home. But there might be some time before there's anything that you can do to control whatever your situation is. So, while you're waiting for that time, take a nap Watch a couple hours of really crappy TV that you just want to do to turn your brain off so that you can feel ready and recharged to tackle whatever it is that you have to tackle to deal with the rest of the mess. What if you have to miss work? Well, that sucks, but then use it as an opportunity to take a nap at 2 p.m. because you normally wouldn't do that. Being kind to yourself is extremely important all the time, but especially in a crisis. You're gonna need this time to recharge. Dealing with a crisis and its aftermath definitely involves a lot of energy, and you want to make sure that you have all the energy you need to deal with whatever's happening. Do what you need to do to recharge and feel prepared instead of totally depleted. Now, let's move on to the bonus round. This week's bonus round is to restore a sense of normalcy as soon as you can. Of course, first, you have to do self-care, and you have to be recharged and prepared in order to do that. But once you've had some time to rest and recharge, start doing things as normally as you can. Once you've had some time to rest and recharge, start incorporating bits of your normal routine into this out of the ordinary situation. So let's say you're staying at a friend's house until an emergency is resolved and you can't get to the gym like you do every Monday. Do what you can. When you would normally go to the gym, but you can't get there for whatever reason, do a few push-ups and sit-ups, or watch a Pilates video on your computer if you can and you have that with you. Just do something to feel active. Go for a run around the block. Whatever it is that you need to do to feel that same sense of normalcy that going to the gym brings you. Likewise, if you're unable to go to work for whatever reason, still try to get up and go to sleep at the normal times that you would, and go through your normal morning and nighttime routine as much as is feasible in your situation. So even if you can't get up at the same hours for whatever reason, or you don't have all of your clothes and everything you would normally have with you, at the same time, roughly, every day, try to brush your hair, put yourself together, put on some clothes that make you feel good about you. Little things that are external like that might seem silly, but they're not, and they're great ways to help you feel like your normal self. And being your normal self will definitely help you be more prepared to take on situations like you normally would. And feeling like your normal self can go a long way to helping you feel prepared to tackle a situation with the same energy and logic and cool-headedness that you normally would. And it can help you really feel like you're gonna get through this, because you can and you will. Hi, Hammy. So that's it for this week, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your friends. I release new videos every week.